Hey y'all, I'm Todd Bailey.
What's up? It's Arie Lumberdozy.
And this is fucking Brewtal.
Get in the pit, stock up the fridge, and listen. We're here to cover the latest in metal news and craft beer. A match made in hell.
If it makes you bang your head, then we want to hear it. If it tickles your taste buds, share those suds.
Turn it up to 11.
Crack open that beer.
It's about to get brutal.
What's up, Hopwolves? It's your boys, Todd and Arie, coming at you with episode 88 of Brewtal Podcast. This is actually a very special episode because we have a guest who's going to sit in with us throughout the episode. We have Josh Davies of MONASTERIES. They come from the UK. Welcome. Thank you for being on here. Kind of give a shout out to anyone listening and tell a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Josh. I'm 24 years of age. I sing for the band MONASTERIES. I'm not going to name drop my previous bands because no one knows who they are. But yeah, I'm stoked to be here. It's a good time, not a sad time. This came out will be 2 weeks, or when this comes out, by 3 weeks today. So
just a baby.
It's good shit. Yeah.
We're going to get more into it, of course, later in the episode, but we fucking love Ominous, dude, and that's not just us blowing smoke up your ass. Like the day it dropped, I remember Todd texted me and he's like, dude, MONASTERIES, like contender for album of the year. It's that fucking good. And I completely agree. I was blown away by it. And so I'm really fucking excited that you agreed to do this and that we're going to talk more about it in a little bit here.
Thank you so much for those kind words. It was hard to keep my mouth shut when having the masters and having the friends that were on those tracks. So it's quite insane.
Oh, how long were you sitting on the masters?
A little while, because it's like we had to I wanted to just build everything, and I didn't really want to rush anything because I felt like the stuff in Silence was rushed. Lilac wasn't rushed, but the album I made sure it wasn't rushed. I wanted the visuals to kind of fit in budget wise, and I kind of wanted to smash everything out. But the concept for that album was written when the first lockdown happened.
Oh, wow.
The concept was meant to be for the Silence EP, but it was too good of a concept that I wanted to put it to an LP and not a 5-track. And it's it's the best decision I've ever made lyrically.
I love that. That's a nice little tease for more questions we'll ask about later. Before we get stuff really started, we are going to dive into our beers of today. You are going to be joining us with some water, and this is a PSA to everyone to stay hydrated, especially at shows. Especially when
shit right now.
Yeah, especially during the summer days. I'll start us off. The way we do things is whoever has the lower ABV starts it off, and Arie's is quadruple mine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this. So the beer I have today is La Petite Prince, and this is from Jester King Brewery here in Austin, Texas. It's got a nice little purple backdrop. I might have picked that because of the album we're talking about today later on. It's a nice little theme here. It's got this alien looking dude with a little proper haircut there with a general's uniform and all that. I don't know if you can see, it's beads of sweat on this can right now. I'm going to look up to see how hot it is right now. It's 102 in Austin, Texas.
That ain't, dude, that's winter time for you.
Yeah, that's actually on the short end. But I'm going to open this up and we're going to pour it out so we can see the beer. The ABV, by the way, because I kind of alluded to it, is 2.9. I was actually shocked by that. I thought it was going to be so much more. But we're going to try to get the pour on can. This always does not go well.
There's the so little alien guy reminds me of was it Abe from Hellboy?
I could see that. I could see that.
But just a smidge.
Yeah.
really anything Guillermo del Toro's ever done looks kind of like that.
Or we might need to go to you while this no one would accept this beer at a pub.
No. It's hot. It's fine. You're okay.
What I'll do is so we got lots of head. That's going to deduct a point. But I'll drink it out of the can so I can talk about the taste a little bit. So this is a farmhouse table beer. So this brewery in particular is actually in a very rural spot of Austin, out in farm country. What's cool about this brewery, though, they do goat yoga and they play black metal during it. It's just this little experience that they do. And I just love that they do black metal of anything. Yeah, it's just awesome. So if you're ever in Austin, go check out Jester King. They're all about like artisan and like using what they grow on their property to put in their beer. So it's very cool. Let's get one on the palate here. Oh man, yeah, I can't taste any alcohol on that. That's at 2.9. It's very low. Of note, I did want to mention with the name Le Petit Prince, there is a novella that is called The Little Prince, and it's by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It's like nice. An older children's book. So I do wonder if this is like a nod to that book. Maybe whoever crafted the beer was a fan of that from their childhood. I think it's a children's book, but it's got a nice taste to it. I don't know how to describe it. It tastes like it was from a farm. And that's like a good thing. Like I mean that by as a good thing. Yeah, it's got a little weird aftertaste, so be ready for that if you're having this beer, but very chuggable. I'm not going to chug it today. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. I just
nice.
At 2.9%, it leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's a nice little drink.
I mean, that's good for the heat. And
dude, I'm like sweating even more as I'm like pouring it out. So
that's pretty cool. We don't get too many farmhouses here on the show, which I personally don't like that style. And I fight with Brandon, one of our homies back home. That's his favorite style. He's a big beer connoisseur.
I didn't know you like farmhouse ones that much.
Yep. I argue with him about it all the time. Like, I can't do it, dude. A lot of it, the best description.
He does kind of look like this a little bit.
He does. But yeah, that sounds cool. The label looks sick, dude.
Yeah. They always do a really good job with their artwork. So kudos to whoever did the artwork. They do not mention it, unfortunately.
Lame.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that we were talking to Josh off cam before the show, and being so into merch. One of the things that we really like to do with the beers is like sometimes we'll just pick it based on the label art. And it's just such a cool medium to see like how you can have something like fit the can that it's still like a cool graphic design, but it's the same thing with like, is this gonna fit like on a hoodie? Is this gonna fit on a can or a bottle or something like that? But I'm gonna keep this really, really brief so we can keep everything rolling here. I already am gonna say like I recommend this one because it's Southern Tier, which is one of my favorite breweries. I had the Caramel Pumpkin on last time. I'm full into spooky season. It's September, so I'm here for it.
Let's go.
Even though I am quite hot right now, but that's okay. This is Warlock, and I'm also excited to see that Todd had a purple can too, because this one I did not do like specifically, but I'm really glad I waited this week to do it. But yes, this is Warlock. It's a pumpkin stout. And you can see the little Warlock guy here. He looks really mystical. You can see like for everyone watching, it's got like some stars and stuff in the pumpkin itself. Some nice green like stuff coming out, like casting a spell and shit like that. I've had this one ever since they dropped it. It's probably my favorite. It's just being a pumpkin stout. It said 8.6 ABV. Nice purple label. It's just a fun glass. But yeah, per the website, it says, "Welcome to the dark side. Warlock is brewed to enchant your palate and perfectly complements His Royal Highness Pumpkin Imperial Ale. Craft your own black magic by pouring this stout, Imperial Stout, into a goblet," which I also have a Warlock goblet, but it's packed away somewhere, which makes me sad. Awaken your dark and mystical side with Warlock's roasted malt character, moderate carbonation, and spiced pumpkin pie aroma. Let's get one on the palate here. Hopwolves, cheers. It's great.
You're
It's
like
nice.
classic.
It's classic. I was gonna I don't even need to pour it out because that is the color of the beer. It's not the bottle. It's very dark. I wish there were more pumpkin stouts. I don't run into them as much, but I think it really pairs nicely with the coffee notes, the coffee and the chocolatey notes that go with the spiciness of the pumpkin and the cinnamon and stuff like that. Yeah. I was going to say I think I had this on last year too. I always have this one, but to keep it moving, how are you? I saw you getting into the spooky season. Are you excited for where? I guess the better question is where do you land on the pumpkin debate? That's a hot debate.
Hard as shit. I love spooky season. I don't know. It's just I always love how the inner child comes out of everyone, and everyone dresses up or they'll go and do family stuff. I just love that whole gathering, that some uncomfortable scenes and figures brings everyone together, and it's so cool. But Halloween has always been my shit. It's just Christmas isn't for me, and neither is the other holidays. But Halloween is. It's just cool, and I really like all the drinks you have, especially that Warlock. I'm just that is
It's so fun.
And I feel America just still continues to bring the most absurd and insane shit, and I love it. I'm there for it. It's just the UK's so numb compared to you guys.
Interesting. I mean, but you guys have a lot more of the classic takes on a lot of things. Here in the States, it's just how can we essentially bastardize something and make it like 3x it to, whatever it is, whether that's food, drinks, anything like that.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is traditional here. A lot of people love to follow the old kind of cultural ways, especially the Scottish and how people get married. But it's I love how you say bastardize, because it's always here. You'd always see white weddings and churches and stuff, where I'm sure in the States it's just whatever you want to make it. It's insane. If you want to get married in front of a trailer with guns blazing everywhere, let's do it.
That has definitely happened in America, in the South in particular.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's as someone that had an unconventional wedding, I'm right there for you. We had it at in a barn, treehouse type setting in the middle of Ohio, and it was a goth emo, earthy type of wedding. So yeah, anything. Cool. It was a good time. Not to pat myself on the back, but it was pretty cool. Before we get into all the new music and stuff like that, so you're drinking water with us today. Is there any so you're recently newly sober, so congratulations. That's super that's honestly super sick.
Thanks.
What do you like to generally have? Do you like tea? Is there anything that you have for like a vocal regimen, anything like that?
So I have Tetley's throat comfort. That's what I kind of drink before I go on stage. And if I'm having a bad time, I'll also drink that. But sometimes I won't. Sometimes I kind of go a little bit raw and just do the natural, organic kind of warming up. But if we're talking day by day drinks in general, generally it's now just water. But I have a new hype thing, and my best friend Ryan Parkins, he's introduced it. So I don't know if I have it in the States because I didn't notice it, but like I hate fizzy drinks. Like I hate the bubbles and I hate the kind of feel of your teeth and the rawness in your throat. But Burger King, you do a grape soda, bubble free, sugar free, insanity. And I'm like, ah. And me and him will like go on drives and he'll smoke weed and I'll just get a nice little grape sugar free, bubble free soda. And it's definitely like insane. But those are two things I drink. Because like I'm not saying like I'm fussy. I'm just very wary because I don't want to like deteriorate my throat because I spent a lot of time abusing it and taking advantage of it until like now I'm kind of like, well, I want to sort my shit out and I want to be better than what I am now. I'm not saying I'm fucking fantastic. I just want to push myself even more. I just want to break even more boundaries with myself.
I was gonna say from those highs on that album, man, I think it's paying off.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much. It's like those highs, like I love doing ice creams, but like that whole album was just like me trying to perfect my lows and do a lot more lower registers. And I feel like I achieved that. And I feel like it's my heaviest vocal performance ever, that album. And I'm super, super, super proud of it. And I'm super proud of like pushing it as well. Like when dropping like Heaven Failed Us and hitting people with the lefty righty good night and not expecting that. It's just like
I was just about
it's
to
just
ask,
so
is that
cool.
you singing?
Yeah. Everything vocally is me.
Fantastic job on the
Amazing.
cleans too. I was, it's like unexpected because it's later on in the album and you get hit with so
Yeah.
much heavy and then you get hit with that. You're like, what is this?
Yeah. It's like when like we've always done cleans and but we've always had it as like a back end, never like a forefront. But Aaron and I were like writing the album with our old guitarist and I said to him, I was like, I don't want that album to be how we've done the last two EPs. I want one or two Black Sheep songs, and we did have one or two Black Sheep songs, like Ominous Enter and Heaven Failed Us. And Heaven Failed Us was the most well received track we've ever had. And to say it's like a
It's awesome.
different turn, it's like insane because like Whitechapel and Suicide Silence did the cleans and they got given shit for a very, very, very long time. I don't know about if Suicide doing it. I know Whitechapel do, but I feel like a lot of people have took Whitechapel on there for what they are. And Phil Bozeman is a great clean singer as well as an unclean. But yeah, like hitting people with that was just great. It's something I've always wanted to do because there's only so much you can catch an emotion through screaming. But you're going to catch the real and more cathartic emotion in the singing. And the song is the most sentimental and personal song to me off the entire record. So like using those lyrics in these sections and executing the way I did, a lot of people felt touched. And hearing that response was overwhelming because from pulmonary failure to now, I've always wrote lyrics for intention, always for someone to not feel how I used to feel or be in positions I used to be in. And to hear people feeling okay or some sort of like meaning to it is probably the best feeling you could ever have as a human being. And I don't think like money or happiness could ever buy that. Because what's not better than someone going, these lyrics you wrote from a shit time is so good and fitting for me and it's made me feel better. It's made me be a complete different person. It's like it's impact for me. And impact is what makes it because I feel like music's fun and write your brutal lyrics, but I feel like impact and catharticness and emotion, it's just it for me. I'm like a sensitive man. So like hearing that was great. Like we did a show in London, debut Heaven Failed Us on Friday, and there was people knowing the words, and I couldn't sing it because I was just like mind blown because we're a tech deaf band. No one sings the lyrics, no one knows what the hell you are saying. So it was just very awesome to see, and I'm grateful for it.
That's so touching to hear.
That's
No,
amazing.
I love that. It's your catharsis is transferring to other people to then feel those same emotions. We love to hear it. And honestly, it is a standout because you are hit
It
with so
is.
much tech deathcore, and then you get to this sweet little moment in the album.
Yeah, it gives people like a break because I know how much of a head burner that type of music can be. Like, I'll never listen to a full Beneath the Massacre album. I love that band, nothing wrong with that band. But a full Beneath the Massacre album is too much for my little small head. I like choruses, I like stuff, but I actually tend to listen to a lot of more acoustic music than heavy
Nice.
music.
That's
So like
awesome.
that's me. Yeah, it's like I grew up like with pop, and then my dad showed me like Iron Maiden and like Black Sabbath, and it wasn't for me. And then I found my way with deathcore straight away. So insane.
Oh yeah.
It was a small like TV screen, like a small one. I was in like my dad's friend's son's room, and he's like, "Ah, do you want to come see something?" And at this point, I was kind of like numb to music. I didn't really care for it. And I was like, "Yeah." And then he puts on the music video for Bludgeoned to Death by Suicide Silence.
Fuck
And
yeah.
you can imagine like 9-year-old me just looking at this screen at just this big power stance of a man and him just fucking annihilating the song. And he also showed me Unanswered. And in my head, I was like, what is this? What is this? And then I always wanted to become a frontman ever since. And then I never actually started scraping until like 17. And I'm currently 24.
That's so rad.
That's just that like that's a pretty short amount of time for like how like really like how awesome your presence is, and also the range that you
Thank you.
have, because a lot of times people just stick to like, you know, either like gutturals or like mids or something like that, but you got the whole plus the singing. So
Yeah.
kudos, that's
Like,
amazing.
that happening when doing this, I was like, I didn't want to become your typical deathcore vocalist. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be a black sheep. I wanted to be diverse. I wanted to fit in all genres. And that's what I'm still trying. So it's like, I hope it goes well. I'm just doing it, but people seem to be taking on what I'm doing. And to me, that's insane because I was just a pissed off 17-year-old in my bedroom with a lot of problems, just covering metalcore, deathcore, slam songs, and just finding my sound. I'm still yet finding my sound, but I feel like what I did on Heaven Failed Us was me, and it felt like me, and I enjoyed that a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And to like hear your growth, like that's so cool.
Yeah, because like before Monasteries, I joined Monasteries. I was like at the back end of being 18. So like I was in a metalcore band that didn't do shows, and then I dropped out of that because the dude was an asshole and I didn't like him. And then
Fair.
I started a new band because like there's this website in the UK. It's called findmyband.com. And I went on findmyband.com, and it was just people submitting their shit. And I found like people, and I started being in a band with people, and I started a band called Abandonment, and it was a hardcore metalcore. It threw in the lines of like Sanction and like Chamber. And it was actually originally two vocalists, but the second vocalist was like annoying. So we dropped him, and he pissed me off because I brought a short SM58 microphone. Brand new, dude. Brand new. He goes, oh, go on, give it a go. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm not a selfish person. I give it him. What's he do? He drops it, the head fucking dents. And I'm like,
Oh my
no.
God.
Bearing in mind, at this point, I didn't have a job. I just paid £100 for a microphone that just got dented. I'm freaking out. I'm pissed. So I fucking went mad at him. He was in my bad books already. So like that band happened for like 2 years. and then it disbanded because I wanted to join Monasteries and focused on that. And then in that meantime of being in Monasteries, I joined like a UK band called Sentence UK, and it's just like a beatdown kind of slam band, and that was fun when I was last in. And then I've just been doing Monasteries since. There's probably like new stuff on the horizon. I'm always trying to keep busy. I'm always trying to keep like music, like covers and new projects. Like I enjoy that shit. Like it's the drive, it's the thrill for me.
Plus, it probably keeps it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And it's like you get to make friends along the way and make absolutely cool memories. So it's like, why not? It's like I'm 24. I'm not gonna get any younger. I'm gonna be 30 in like 2 years. Not really.
Stay away
So
from
it's
your
like,
30s.
this is it, man. It's like I spent so much time just chasing past and chasing relationships. And I'm just kind of like, all right, well, screw this. I'm going to do my music and I'm here.
Yes, you are. I mean, like in like the best way possible, homie. Like you can hear the passion like coming through, not just Ominous or anything you've done with Monasteries, but like the covers are always super sick too.
Thank you.
And yeah, like you said, you've got like such a wide range that you're covering that it keeps people coming back for more to be like, oh, you know, like what's Josh gonna do this week, or like, and then out of nowhere, like not out of nowhere, but like coming back to Ominous, like I forgot that was even coming out, and Todd was like, dude, check this out. I'm like, oh, yes.
The way we do things, like Thursday is like homework night. Like I scour the internet trying to find everything that's releasing. I go to iTunes. I go to the PRP.com if you've ever been on that site. Oh, you don't have it?
No, you have to send it, man.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's like I said, if I forget, the PRP.com.
Yeah, PRP. All right, I'm gonna write that down.
It's I have been on that music site since, God, I would say since Kill Switch drops Alive or Just Breathing.
High school era, baby. I mean, well, let's keep, since we're talking about music, of course, one of our favorite things to chat about, let's get into some stuff that dropped. And Josh, how we do it, are going to give you 20 albums and the Hopwolves, of course. And then we're going to pick like some, because it's Thursday. We usually record on Fridays. So like a lot of these we haven't been able to hear yet. Maybe you have. I don't know. You're a little bit ahead of us over in the UK. So we'll get it started, and then we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into the playlists. So first off, we're starting with Black Pestilence with Chaotic Wisdom, Chopper and the Interview EP, Legends Cryptopsy as Gamora Burns. This is their first album in like 10 years, I think. It's been a hot minute. Yeah, and also shout out Matt from Vox and Hops. That's a great podcast. We love that podcast. Super cool dude. Then we have Death Shroud with Perihelium. Other Legends, Dying Fetus with Make Them Beg for Death. Fuck yeah. I forgot that one was dropping this week too. Fossilization. Yeah, it's going to be sick, dude. Then we have Fossilization with Leprous Daylight. Gory Blister with Reborn from Hatred. Himes with Stranger in a Wasteland, Nasty with Heartbreak Criminals, Nauseating with Stabbed, Mutilated, Collected. Nice. That's an EP. Then we have Pain of Truth with Not Through Blood, the Waffle House Fight Crew through and through, baby. Peeling Flesh with Slamaholics Volume 2. That's an EP. Love that band.
Yes.
Then we have I knew I was going to fuck this up.
This one's
Satsuriku Robot with No Thrash, No Life. Slow Pulse with No Room for Goodbyes EP. Sodom Misery with Mazaroth. Silosis, also Legends, A Sign of Things to Come. Forgot that one's coming out too. Terminalist with The Crisis as Condition. Uada with Crepuscule. Natara, hope that's right. Unity TX with Ferility. And then lastly, we have with Honor with Boundless. I'm going to throw to you, Josh. Is there anything, we know you're excited for Dying Fetus because who isn't? Is there anything else on there? Is there anything we missed that we in the Hopwolves should know about?
Are we just like naming singles or albums?
So right now it's just albums.
Yes.
So from that list, is there anything that pops out to you you're excited about? And then also, is there any that we missed that you know of?
The dudes in Peanut Flesh are homies, and I did not know they were dropping an EP. So I knew they had stuff coming, but I didn't know that was out, and I'm pretty fucking like hyped for it.
Hell yeah.
I'm like looking in my Spotify at the moment. I
Yeah,
can't
hopefully there's more air horns in there.
Yes, dude.
Well, an album did come out. Well, does an EP count?
Absolutely.
So, okay, cool. There's a band called Graveview, and they dropped an EP called Ruthless Obliteration of Sanity. And I'll shit you not, it has the most intense mix I've ever heard. And it's by a guy called Hunter. And Hunter sings for a band called Mood Ring and Psycho Frame. And
yes.
Exactly.
We love
both
both those bands.
We're aware of him.
Amazing. Like, he's such a good dude. And it's like, but that band is incredible. Snuffed on Sight dropped an album recently. That is also fucking incredible. I can't really see anything new, to be honest. Yeah. Shout out Post Malone. That album's good.
Phenomenal album.
Oh yeah. Actually, his latest one. I haven't listened to that yet. I'm a big fan of him. He's from Texas too, so shout out Posty.
Hell yeah, dude. Before we get into the singles that came out for our playlist, Todd, what's something that you're excited for this week to listen to?
So I'm really excited for that Pain of Truth album. They're more hardcore, but they had a single that featured 200 stab wounds on it. That was fantastic.
Oh, I remember when you brought that one up. That one's super dope.
I love that collaboration. Like, deathcore is basically death metal and hardcore combined, but you have a hardcore band asking a death metal band to do a feature, and it's just perfect, and I love it. Other than that, Nasty was actually really nice. I heard a couple of the singles from that album, and they add like some hip hop influence to it, which I enjoy. And then With Honor, that's actually a little bit more pop punk, but they have a nice hardcore edge to them. So yeah, it's just a nice take on that genre.
Hell yeah, dude. Speaking to kind of bridge the gap between what you both said, I saw that Snuffed on Sight is going to be on tour with 200 stab wounds, and that's going to be fucking dope. Wouldn't expect that lineup, but like you've got your brutal death and then you've got your beat down. So like that's going to be quite the time. Yeah, those are all sick. The only other one that I'm like really excited to, I want to check all these out, but the Unity TX, I really love what that band, that's just a fun band, dude.
Yes.
I love Shaolin G, like seeing his stuff on Instagram and TikTok and stuff is amazing. And he's such a like a really awesome frontman. So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's the albums and the EPs. Todd, why don't you take us through all the singles that are dropping? And again, I'm sure there's other ones that will be coming out since it's Thursday, but these are the ones that came out that we know of or are coming out. So Todd, take it away for us.
We are starting off with Cranium with their single Brain Dead Skull Fucking. I'm going to say that again. Brain Dead Skull Fucking. What a single title, if there ever was one. It lives up to that title, so it's pretty crazy. Next up at number 2, we have Bolt Cutter, and this is featuring Epiglottis. That's it. And then Elijah Gates. And the song is called Ballpeen Bludgeoning. I don't know what ballpeen means, but it sounds brutal. And it is brutal. After that, we have Nine Dead with their song A Silent Practice. That is fucking heavy as can be. I hear a little bit of Suicide Silence in them, and I'm all for it.
That's Florida right there, baby.
Florida is a hotbed right now of great metal. After them, at number 4, we have Torn Soul with their song Echoes. At number 5, we have Aetherwave with their song Born Again. Then at number 6, this is a new one for me. I think it's called Witch, even though it's spelled WYCH. And this is featuring Satanic Tea Company. And it's called 666 God. And it's got a Drake sample on it. It's such a nice touch.
So good.
At number 7, we have Seagrave with their single Leader of the Pack. At number 8, we have Victims with their new song Twist the Rage. That's got a nice little acoustic intro, and then it really ramps up. So, pleasant surprise with that. They're always doing something different. At number 9, we have As in Hell. That's all one word with their song Desert of Doom. At number 10, we have Wayfarer with their song To Enter My House Justified. At number 11, we have Harm's Way. Yeah. At number 11, we have Harm's Way, and this is featuring King Woman, which is an interesting feature. And the song is called Undertow. At number 12, we have Vended with their new track, Am I the Only One? And for those of you who don't know, that is Corey Taylor's son, who's the front man for that band.
And Sean.
Yes, yeah. And Sean, he's on drums.
The drummer. Mm-hmm.
So if you like Slipknot, you'll like Vended for sure. At number 13, we have Static X. They have a new one with Stay Alive. At number 14, we have Our House featuring Shaolin G with Body Bag Music. That's the single. At number 15, welcome back. Shields is back. They just dropped their new track, Bury Me. Love that they're back and they're doing heavy again. Like that band can do no wrong.
I'm sorry. That's Stanley Kubrick's grandson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. Okay, nice. Please continue.
At number 16, we have Pale Sky with their single Hell to the Liars. At number 17, See You Space Cowboy, which is featuring Nothing Nowhere, another awesome feature, with their song Rhythm and Rapture. At number 18, I don't know about this band too much, but I liked what I heard. It's a good mix of cleans with some really heavy screaming. They're called Steps of Odessa, and the single is Artificial Air. Number 19, this is a little bit more thrashy. It's Gamma Bomb with Speed Funeral. I believe they're from Ireland. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. And then at number 20, we have Code Orange with Mirror, which is actually a very soft track. So I put it at the end. We always do that because usually some heavy bands like to make that last track like an acoustic one or a very soft one. And so we always like to add a nice little bow tie there. So that's the list. That's all 20 songs. Josh, was there any that you heard that kind of piqued your interest or you're looking forward to?
You need to send me this list because I've been trying to like write it down.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll send it.
We got you. We got you, Jay.
Right, those names sound hard. So like, yeah, there's a band called Dying Wish.
Oh, yes.
They just dropped a single not long ago, and it's like the hardest thing ever. But other than that, I think they dropped Lost in the Fall. Beautiful music video. I think that's the only thing that I've caught on to. I know like Static Dress have been like dropping singles off their deluxe album. I can't see anything in my Spotify. No, that's pretty much it. I feel like music has been a bit slow lately, but there's a band you should all check out. They're not together anymore, but there's a band called God Complex.
Yes.
Dude. Arie knows about them a little bit more, but didn't somebody turn them on to you, Arie?
Yeah, they're also not together anymore. Just sorry, Josh, to interject for one moment. Human Hell, their guitarist Tom messaged me like this is probably like 2 years ago, and he was like, "Dude, God Complex." I can't remember the name of it, but I remember that it's a Purple album. And
BDK in a Deathless World.
Yeah, dude, that album is fan-fucking-tastic.
Dude, like it's a band that shouldn't have stopped because it's like it took a while to get the album out. Of course, I'm sure they had their own little issues or something going on in their project, but seeing their last ever performance was goosebumps because it was like monumental. Like it's something to never be happening again. And if you look at their stats, so if I go into God Complex right now on Spotify, because I know stats is like the biggest thing now, they haven't done a show for like maybe coming on to 2 years, and they're still sitting at 74,000 listeners.
That says
with
something.
having like songs at like 1 million streams and coming to 1 million streams. It just goes to show that this band is special and still is special. Like it's like other than Loathe and Static Dress and Harrier, I feel like God Complex made such an impact in the UK, just as well as those bands. And it's such a shame to not see them go further because this album would have took them heights.
I'm gonna add another one to that list because Blood Youth, I loved their last album. It was like a swan song album because their vocals was exiting, and I was like, why? Like, it was just a magical album to me. And
Yeah, they got, when he left, they got Harry from God Complex to join him, and he joined them.
Interesting.
Oh, the plot
Yeah, so-
thickens.
Yeah, so if you look at like Blood Youth live videos, you'll see Harry, and Harry is a tremendous vocalist. Like everyone from Blood Youth to God Complex to Blood Youth, tremendous fucking musicians, hands down. Eric Bickerstaff is built for music. Like he drummed on the God Complex album, and I believe
No kidding, wow.
he also produced it. And
Nice.
I've worked with him before. He produced the vocals in Lilac, and he's just cogging in. He's just a madman. So shout out Eric.
Do that. We were talking before, and this, I guess we can segue this into talking more about Ominous and what's going on with the Monasteries camp. But we both think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but like the UK scene is thriving. Like there's what one of my favorite album, actually probably my favorite album, is the new Graphic Nature that came out this year. Omnis is right up there. And again, I'm not just saying that, like it's rivaling the amount of playtime it's getting, but like them, we just had a feature from Draconian Rain. That was really cool. I know I don't like every time it's.
I have one, Detriment UK. It's like
Detriment.
Metallic
I've
hardcore.
never heard of those.
That album's so good.
Have you ever heard of a band called Harrier?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like they're a band that has taken new heights for the style of music they play, because the style of the music they play is so raw and so authentic and just so like old school in its ways. I feel like it gets so swept under the rug, but seeing that band take that sound, the aesthetic, the style, everything to European shows with Architects and UK shows like Lamb of God, it's good. And especially the guitarist, Debbie. I've played kitchen shows with Debbie, and she's been with me on my journey when I kind of started vocals and started doing shows. So she is like magnificent, and it's great to see her in the place she's in now. It's hard work pays off, and she's a framed picture that's showing that, saying if you work hard, this is the outcome, and they all deserve what they are getting. I love the band.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome to hear.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
You're making me want to give them more attention. Yeah, I think they dropped one single this year. Do you know if they're ramping up for a bigger release at all?
I don't know, but
we'll see.
It's very ominous of you.
that single Jimmy they put out was fucking just hectic. Like the song was fantastic, but then you dive into like the mix and everything. It's so good. And then you have Harry Steele, who did the video work, and I think the bassist Packer does it with him, and it's beautiful. It's artistically crazy, and to see the kind of like small usage of things they have, and they built this big thing, it's phenomenal. And it goes to show why they are probably like the best band in the up and coming best band in the UK for me right now.
We're gonna have to send them this interview so they can hear that.
That was beautiful, and you're absolutely right. Like they are onto something, and that's gonna continue to build. So hopefully, maybe they'll take you guys on tour. Like that'd be kind of sick.
That'd be cool.
Be cool.
We're gonna put that out in the universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the universe, this is a terrible segue, but
we're so bad with segues.
We're so bad with segues. I mean, kind of. So, like, we're talking about Omnis. We've sprinkled it throughout, but like now is the time to like shine. So it's been out for a few weeks now. Like, how has the reception been for the album thus far?
It's been phenomenal. It's been the best received thing we've ever done, and people going, stop doing EPs or singles, give us an album. And we've been working on this album for since Silence finished. So it's quite good to see it out and see it in full force. So people can still pick up a copy as well on our big cartel. Like I got these, the glare. So I got these like, that works better. So I got these like literally the Friday. So it's been doing well, and I'm happy about the reception. It's just so overwhelming to see like something you've worked so hard on, you put everything into, do like so well, and everything was all thought out. Everything had its intention, so it's great. And then fortunately for me, I got to like spend and do tracks with like my favorite vocalists who are now my friends, which 15-year-old me would probably be like, what the fuck? Because like Sven from A Boy on a track is insane. The Slam King is insane. Monty Bernard, talented. And I obviously have like one of my good closest friends, Donovan Lee. So it's like, it's just awesome. It's just a great feeling.
Dude, hell yeah.
If you don't mind holding up the album again that you were holding, we did want to talk about the cover art because we're not entirely sure what we're seeing. If you want to describe it a little bit.
So that's like a big concept talk. So what you're seeing right there is a figure, a hooded wooden masked figure. So he's got a hood up, obviously, and his facial structure is, I'm not gonna say he, it's he, she, they, them. You don't know what it is, but it's an entity that takes Lilac through the album. And the album is about becoming a better self and overcoming objects and tasks that will impact your life and your mental health. And it's just overcoming all that shit. So it's like, he doesn't have a name. He's nameless. No one knows how old he is, where he's come from. He's there. That's the secret. That's something that I'll never unveil where he's from. But yeah, I'm proud of the shit. And he came out pretty well because if you look at like, if you go on the band's Facebook page and look at like teasers before Lilac dropped the single, you'll see him. So he's been there. He's been there.
That's awesome. I'm really glad. Well, thank you for giving us insight into that, because the first thing that it made me think of when I saw it, have you ever seen the movie Kill List from like 2011? I actually just rewatched it right before we started recording this just to make sure that like I wasn't fucking lying. But like it's a British film, but oh dude, it's super good. But they, not to like give too much away, but they have very similar looking masks at some point in the film. And I was like, dude, this. And then it also made me think of like the Knocked Loose video that they did for Deep in the Willow. And I love like any culty type of deal, like mysterious, ominous figures. I was like, dude, I hope that it was supposed to be a figure, not just like a tree, but that would have been fine too. I'm not mad about that, but I'm glad that it was like an actual, like that's the entity itself. So that's fucking sick.
So like, I feel like on the Heaven Fell artwork, you see its forefront of it, but like yeah, it's quite funny, like dropping that, and then everyone else had the kind of same thing in mind, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like, it's nothing bad, but it's actually really cool. But yeah, it's like if you look through like the lyrics, there's a lot of like abstract and me talking about like woodland springs and stuff like that, observing the areas. Like it just made sense to do it in that sense because I wanted something that was terrifying, but also something that was so welcoming. Because Lilac, the song, is a prologue to the album. So the girl is obviously young of age. So it's like, you're not going to put a big demon in front of her face and expect to find this big demon somewhere. So it's like, I wanted something that's so welcoming and silent that should just be curious and be like, ah, this is very ominous. What is this?
Is that how the album title name kind of came about? You were just, was it after the artwork or before?
It came before the artwork. It came pretty much instantly because it was like, how am I going to set the tone for this? Because it's when you think of it, it's like, it needs to be solid. It needs to be good. It needs to be rememberable. It needs to be sharp. And it's like when you put an album title on, you need people just to fucking click and be like, this sounds cool. So it's like when you look at the meaning of ominous, it fits with the theme and the concept and lyrically because and the band itself because you don't know what to expect. And that's it. And I love how people love the title because it's like our most well received length title. And it's just sick. It just rolls with the tongue as well because you just say ominous and then everyone's just like, yeah, that's cool as fuck.
And it is. It is cool as fuck and will continue to be cool as fuck. Okay, so we talked about the concept and the name before everything else. To piggyback off that question that Todd had, so we were talking earlier in the show about purple, and purple has been a very big. It's a theme in the album. It seems like, and then you have the character of Lilac. What came first in that instance? Like, did you have the idea of Lilac first and then kind of like incorporate the purple into the mix, or did you guys already kind of have that in mind?
Here's the thing that's going to blow your mind away.
I'm ready.
The album was lyrically finished. And then we agreed upon that we wanted to do a standalone bridge from silence to the album. So Lilac was the last written lyrics. The album lyrically was done, finished. Done.
Okay.
And then I had to write a prologue. And then I was like thinking, oh, I could do this. And Lilac is a name that falls into Heaven Fells as well in a different context. But the color kind of came last. So it's like when doing the video, have you saw the music video for Lilac?
Yeah, that's actually probably my favorite one that you guys released. I really like that concept of well, please continue with that.
So I built that whole scene. I went to like markets and I got the fabric and then I wanted to do like an illusion. So like we released behind the scenes. So like what you see on the video, it looks completely nothing like it does out on the behind the scenes. It's basically just like two poles lifting these velvet sheets up and we just turn the lights off everywhere. But it's like I wanted to build a setting and I wanted to build something daunting and like going inside the store is like there's red and there's like orange velvet sheets, but the purple color that I had stood out to me and it just looked dark, miserable, but still had some sort of like light tone to it. And that's where it came from. And then I put it on the merch tables, and people would be like, "Is this the sheet from the video?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And people loved the color, and I continued the color because it gave enjoyment for the people. And I don't think any band has ran off purple. Like, I know red and blues are like, and yellows are quite like the often colors, but no one did purple, and it stood out, and it did amazing for us. And I wanted to continue for the album, and I did. So that's where like some of it, a lot of it came on the merch and stuff like that. Plus, purple's like my favorite color, so I'm not really gonna argue with it, if I'm honest with you.
Hell yeah.
It works exponentially, and that's definitely something that, like you said, it really pops and it really stands out for whether it be the merch, whether it be the videos, and we're huge suckers for, like, I mean, we're both in film and video and things like that. Like, that's what we both do. So like having the visual representation really and like encapsulating what the music is doing as well is we're really big like into like the whole package type of deal. So having like the through color for the videos and the merch and the album artwork and stuff like that is really cool, because it to me, and I think I can speak for Todd a little bit here, like it just like it shows like how much you care about like it as a whole, as opposed
like
to
the little
like,
details.
yeah,
This is it. Like, it doesn't have to be like big things or pyro. It's just the fine details. The fine details make the biggest impact. So it's like, I wanted to continue on the video from Lilac to the album, but budget wise and unforeseen circumstances couldn't happen. I couldn't bring the people back who were in the video. And so like I kind of had to write off of what I had, but it's like I wanted to build a story. I wanted to set something. But when you look at that lyrically and visually, you can understand that it is a prologue for the album. And that's where Ominous Enter comes into picture next.
Oh yeah.
which is a great opening track, and it's very ominous as a track itself. So that was really cool to have that. And then again, it's those little details like how things flow in the album, and having like the prologue be after like ominous exit is like a really cool like stylistic choice too. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think shout out to Banger Alert podcast, when you were on their show, you're talking about the concept of the album. So it's like it's ominous enter, and then there's the 9 tracks, and then there's ominous exit. And could you talk a little bit about like, because the 9 tracks are like they're all individual learning moments, correct?
Correct.
Nice.
So like on Ominous Exit, I mentioned 9 visions of the damned. And the 9 visions of the damned are 9 figures that are helplessly in a one-way mirrored hallway, just staring at their own reflection. Not lifting their head up, not moving a finger, just staring at their own reflection. And Lilac is walking through this hallway with the album cover, The Entity. And basically, she touches or places her hand upon one of these 9 visions each. And they all take her through like those songs. So one of them will resemble Haven't Failed Us, one of them will resemble Orphan Halls, one of them will resemble Reflective State. And it's basically just like these songs that are just learning curves for Lilac, and showing her how to like not fall or backpedal, and how to overcome shitty situations, and how to become a better self and not a bad person. Like, we're all bad people in our own way or another, whether it's intentional or not. It's just what you do with it. It's basically just like my past and my upbringing into one album. Because I never really spoke about a lot of this stuff publicly, especially like songs like Haven't Failed Us or 6 Behind Bars. Those are 2 songs that are like deep. That's where like those other songs come into play, and Lilac is the prologue. So it goes Lilac, Ominous Enter, all the tracks up until exit, and then done.
Nice. That's awesome. And bringing up tracks like Six Behind Bars, that's one of my personal favorites on the album. And of course, like Heaven Failed Us, like that's it really stands on its own amongst everything else. But that's really cool. And like I love the visual representation that you have, like with your story and your lyrics and stuff. It really reminds me a lot of we talk about Distant and like what they do with their lyrical world and like how they like wrote a book and stuff like that. Like could you ever see yourself doing like different mediums that incorporate this type of story?
I wanted to release a comic for the album. So my original idea for the pre-orders, it was supposed to be vinyl, CD, t-shirt, hoodie, and rather than a long sleeve and a flag, it was meant to be a comic book. And this comic book was meant to like rip it all out and give people a further insight. Who knows? I may do it off my own back. I just know the expensive. I just know the expensive of that is just insane for me to do off my own back, because it's like you gotta get it all illustrated and then you have to get it all printed, and it's depending on the copies. I may do it sometime. I may release a blog about it.
There you go.
Because I would love for people to understand it a lot more and understand like the meaning of things. Because in some of the songs, I could go in depth and storyboard base it. Like Six Behind Bars, it's about my childhood and having like a troubled mother and it all just crashing down around me. It's like there's so much I can do with this concept. It's like open for interpretation as well, which is great. Just like I can talk about these songs and tell them what they mean to me and what I wrote about, but it could mean the absolute opposite to someone else. It's like Six Behind Bars has like the most stamp of a lyric. Like I tried to erase what she'd done. It's like running from the sun. That's a lyric that's just insane. And I'm super proud of that lyrics. It's like when you think of the context, it's like, okay, a person trying to erase what she's done. It's like running from the sun. You can never run from the sun. It's there. It'll always be there. So it's like,
I love that. I love that you're
That's
getting
beautiful.
like giddy about your own lyrics, because we like to say chef's kiss like that.
It's just like one of my favorite lyrics. It's one of my proudest lyrics. And even Evan Falder says it's like, because it's just so like, it's just two set of lyrics that are like so vulnerable and so exposed. And it's just airing my laundry, because like stuff with like my mom like dwelled on me for so long, and then like Evan Falder was like another thing, but Evan Falder was like recent, so like that event happened like last year.
Yeah, since we're talking about songs, I actually want to tell you my favorite, and it's Fatal Design, and you gave me two versions of it.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. How did that come to be? Because when you look at the track list, you're like, what? When I was listening, I was like, oh, it's that song again, but this sounds different. And then I looked, I was like, oh, it's a different feature. And I'm big on groove, and I feel like that's a stompy, groovy song.
We call this song the big festival song.
Okay.
It's just big
Makes
sounding
sense.
of the dun, 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 and after the big hit jump. But are you talking about the features, about those?
Yeah, it's sort of the song in general, but the fact that two exist with different features, if you want to kind of go into that just a little bit.
So like, I had so many people in mind. Originally, it was supposed to be Joe Bab from Fit for an Autopsy, but I never got around to asking him because he went on tour with Lamb of God, and that couldn't fit with our schedule, so I didn't bother asking him. And then it was supposed to be Carl Medina from Body Snatcher. But that fell through. And then I toured with aborted on the Pain Remains tour in America.
Oh,
So
nice.
I did that with them, and I grew a really good friendship with them. And then I asked Sven because it's like, when do you ever hear Sven on a breakdown? Because personally, for me, I haven't came across it yet. I've always saw him in like fast, raspy parts on features because that's his thing, and he sounds magnificent. But people need to put him on breakdowns because that for me was unique. It was refreshing. It was good because he's got such a distinct tone, and I tell him, or at least try and tell him like every day, like you're amazing. And oh, like I don't think so. I'm like, man, shut up. You're great. Go fuck yourself. I wish I had that tone. But Donovan coming into the picture, he's been a friend of mine for so long, and we needed to deliver like a bonus track anyway. And I was like, well, I can do this song twice, and each of them can make it their own version. And Sven changed the pattern, and I think Donovan stuck to my original pattern. But they're so like the polar opposites of techniques. So it's like it both goes hard anyway. But lyrically, it's about like insecurities and hating yourself because I hated myself for such a long time, and I couldn't stand the sight of me. I couldn't stand anything. I even got to points where like I was contemplating like refat suctions just to kind of like make myself feel slimmer. Like I had a really bad time with all this. Like I was going back and forth with my hair. I couldn't find anything that fits at all. I just hated myself. But that song's about that. Just like trapped inside this good first stage, relic on the shelf, can't sustain my health. Because like I feel like I'm just put on this shelf and I'm just a stained, rusty relic, and I can't really sustain how I'm feeling. It's like that's about that. But I wanted to make that song fun, but also kind of like in your face. Because there's like a part of it where it goes dun, 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 ding, and it just hits busty lows. And those are some of the best lows I've ever done.
Once again, showing your range. Now, yeah, that song made me think of oh, what the hell is that Slaughter Chip of Fail song? They had a really stompy one on their latest. I gotta look it up.
It goes, I
I think
know what
it's
you're on
that.
about.
I think it's that Bratva one.
Demolisher?
Maybe.
But no, it's Baby Yaga.
No, I have it pulled up here. It's off of Kostelum. It's the Bratva song. That's kind of like a big festival song. If you go listen to it, I hope it makes sense.
Dude, it made me to piggyback off that, slightly different, but it made me think of like a Psychosocial, like Slipknot, like just that. I call those like the big boy riffs, where it's just like, I don't know why, it's just like, you know,
They're big and beefy, man.
They are big and beefy, and yeah, like you said, you play that at a festival and you can just see like the waves of people like jumping up and down and shit like that and getting into it.
Yeah, we played a fest called Tech Fest with Chelsea Green, Kublai Khan, Aborted, Harriet, Graphic Nature. And I can't remember the opening band, but they ruled. So we played it then for the second time. And it was like a sea of people, probably like 700, maybe a bit more people. And I got them all to crouch the fuck down.
Yes.
Let me try and find the video. I don't know if it will work well, but there's a whole video of a whole crowd just like on its knees. And
yeah,
it's like,
if that exists on YouTube, we'll link it in the show notes for sure, so other people can check it out.
yeah, that was cool. Because like, when do you ever get like a hanger full of people just kind of like crouching down?
Yeah, what are moments like that for you? Like, was that the first time that has ever happened?
Yeah,
Like,
that was the first time. It was because like when you do it the first time, you don't know if people are gonna cooperate. It gets pretty awkward when people don't cooperate. But it did well. But my favorite moment was like we played an album release show in London on Friday, and at the start of Heaven Fell, it goes dun, dun, dun. I got everyone to put like their phone lights in the air, and it was like the most beautiful fucking thing I've ever seen. So it's just moments like that. It's just,
Well, you were saying too about Haven't Failed Us. You were having crowd participation with that, especially during the singing, right?
yeah, like they got the phone torches out. People knew the lyrics. Like I even had like people throw hands out to me and it's like touching them. And I was just like, this is insane, but insane in a good way. Cause like they come out with it and they enjoy it. And I love the fact they're enjoying what has been created from something so sad, but it's made into a positive. It's fantastic.
Do you have a lot of these fans like coming up after the show too to talk about any of the lyrics or anything like that? Or
Yeah, sometimes, but like a lot of times it's just like that was a great show and get a couple of hands, sign a few things from time to time, and it's very overwhelming because I never expect myself to have people doing it. I'm just some dusty British UK man who just wants to make an impact with music and want people to feel something and not feel anything in a negative way, but more in a positive way.
well, I like that you're kind of because that's a nice juxtaposition. I always feel when you hear something so like angry in a way, but like it has an uplifting undertone hidden underneath. Do you think like going forward, like you're gonna keep touching on something like that, or kind of just go with
Yeah,
what the moment strikes?
I feel like with lyrics, I wrote what the moment strikes, or I think just things that people could benefit from, or topics that could be worthwhile to speak about. And there's a lot of topics to speak about. So it's like I always go off that. And it's like, man, I have like a lot of lyrics that's not in use. So it's like maybe sometimes I need to go back on them and like maybe use them, but like I just keep writing and writing and writing and writing, and it never gets old. And I I enjoy it because a lot of it's like poetry based as well. And poetry is like my thing. Like Mike Haranaka is like from Devil Wears Prada is like one of my biggest influences lyrically. Because
Okay, I like
yeah,
that.
I have a tattoo and it says to the key of Evergreen and it has a key and it's like a Devil Wears Prada song and it's like one of
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite lyrics.
hell yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
I love that. Is speaking of the poetry that you just mentioned, is that like a hobby you do on the side?
Yeah, I write some poetry that I haven't been put, but I also read books. It's like if I look into my drawer now, I actually have uh Bullet Made Tambourine by Mike Haranaka. It's like I haven't met him, but it's just like me probably punishing right now. But it's like I really would love to meet him and get him to sign these books. So yeah,
Oh, I think you got to
like
make that happen. I
I
think he
know,
would be very appreciative if you brought the books for him.
but it's like it's there. And like there's like another good book that I enjoy. What is it called? It's called Lolita.
Okay.
Uh, I read I read from time to time. I might be from the UK, but I can read. But it's like I haven't read these in a while, so like, I might actually start reading these tonight. It's just like short stories, big stories, and yeah, he's like my biggest influence.
I actually really like that because I did not know he was that much of an author. So I'm actually kind of interested to check those out.
Dude,
And
yeah, I don't think he's put anything out for a while, but everything he does is just phenomenal. Like three dots in the guilt machine is like picking off the. It's like he has like a one goes small ease goes she stumbles as I do, and it's just so small but so like awesome. Like he's just a fucking great lyricist and like everything. But there was part is just great. It's just amazing. Like I literally take a lot of inspiration from them lyrically, and it's a band that I'd love to tour with as well. It's like even if I read so quick and short from this, it'd be like your face looks like a skeleton, my face looks like a skeleton, your hand's so warm around my neck. Hard, just say
yes, And honestly, like for me, I feel like that band is aged like fine wine because knowing what they sounded like in the past and like what they sound like now, to make that like transformation is like insane to me because it's like almost two different bands, but at the
This
same,
right here is a Devil Wears Prada flag.
hell yeah.
I love that band. It's like my big thing. It's a band that I hope to tour with because it's like I've heard stories of what he's like on tour, and I've heard he's like very quiet, and I feel like I don't know. I just
Because he's
take
thinking of more short stories to write. That's
exactly.
what
He's just he's just sick, and I just like the guy, and I don't know what it is. Like it's not, like I'm not. I sound like a total fucking fanboy. But yeah, he's like my
yeah, but
biggest. Like,
you need to
inspiration.
be about certain people
Yeah.
in life because that like it's like your idols in life that you're looking.
Yeah, I've never met him either. I saw him like so many times. I've never got the chance to meet him, but if we ever cross paths, that'd be pretty fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. If I had to say someone that I would love to meet, it's the lead vocalist of Silent Planet.
Ah,
That
yeah,
like,
their new stuff's magnificent.
oh, I can't wait for that album. And he's so funny on social media. If you ever follow his Twitter account or X account, whatever, he's a good time. But yeah, his lyrics and the way like he interweaves like concepts from like real life things, especially oh, what's the one album with like the color wheel? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I can't think. But the plot in you as well. They put out a song called "The Forgotten." Guys, I just spent my life, and I was like, that is the hardest fucking thing because it's just like it's just small effort.
Yeah, that band, I hate to say this, but I love when he's pissed off. And I don't want people to have that like mind space in their real life, but he just brings so much weight and emotion. And I love that he's like doing a lot more singing now. But when he's like just ripping on the mic and truly angry, like I feel like the emotions behind what he's saying.
Dude, this is it. And like when you listen to like his technique, it's just raw and he's just going for it. And I'm like, this is the hardest fucking thing ever. And I want to do something like that song to Forgotten because it's just so like stompy, big sounding, horrible lyrics. And it's like the video as well, it's so obscene and artsy and fucked up. And I love it.
And it's kind of like you were talking about ominous because it's like on every level, like I feel like he's really thought out what he wants for each part of it. And I feel like that elevates it to another level.
This is it, man. It's like thinking it out, no matter how long it takes, always works out. It's like I've been sitting on this concept since post COVID. So it's like, how long was the first break lockdown? Like 3 years ago?
I've suppressed a lot of that time period, but
Damn.
it's been a while. It seems it feels like 10 years.
Like I remember like just being in a state of like, what the fuck's gonna happen and being in my room and like, I had different desks, like different ways. And I was sat here just kind of like writing everything out. I even have the track list, like an old track list because it's what did I do with it? It's like it was like here on my wall, just blue text, and I'd cross off everything I've ever done. And it even has like Carl Medina's like thing on it. It's just I might give that away at some point.
That would be cool. I think someone would appreciate that. Something like that.
Yeah, it's just old school. Well, it's not old school, but it's just original.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? Whoever's pre-ordered it might get that.
Okay. We'll keep that in contention. Anyone listening, keep that in mind. Let's kind of round out the interview with this, like at the end, like, you know, if there's an aspiring artist out there, you know, you talked a lot about your craft, but like, what would you say to someone that's listening that might be thinking about like getting into music, starting a band? and going through that
Everything,
process, that creative process.
yeah, everything to begin with is trial and error. Don't beat yourself up. Keep pushing. It's gonna get frustrating, but you will surpass the tall mountains. Because I spent so much time when I was trial and error and things, getting so mad and so worked up and overworked and stressed that it's just a time thing. As long as you stick to it, you commit to it, and you go for it, you will see progress. You will see an outcome. I'm not saying I am there. I am far from there. I've got so much work to do. But that's what I've took from this. And keep your head screwed on and have a clear vision. Sit there and think of different what ifs. Your concept or your lyrics can go any direction you want. That's the freedom of creativity. For me, lyrically, I always write with an intention. I always think honesty is key. And that's why my heart on my sleeve is displayed for all to see with this album. And when it comes down to like vocals as well, it's like take time, make sure you warm up, make sure you warm down, treat your body like it's actually a temple, because you're gonna start throwing shit into your body like weed, smoking, drinking heavily. You're not gonna get the results you want. You're just gonna backpedal. And I learned that the hard way by getting fucked up on anything I could get my hands on with, just to deal with shit. And that wasn't the best way. The best way to deal with that shit as well, also, is just write your feelings down on paper. And that's what is now brought to you. It's just doing it, and it's coming from those hard times and into the positive times.
I love that. No, I really think that's going to resonate with the Hopwolves, our fans who listen. Beyond that, I like to use these last few minutes. Is Monasteries anything coming up this year that people should look out for on the horizon?
We've got like shows. We've got another album release show. We're doing two. We just did London. We got Newcastle, September the 23rd. And then the following week after that, we play Crowded Fest and Castle Fest. And then we have a couple of shows at the end towards the year. But obviously this year we're just kind of like letting the album ride and see what can come from it for next year.
Right on. And I'm assuming all those places you mentioned overseas from America.
Yeah, it's in UK. Hopefully one day we can come to the States. We just need something to kind of like push it, because obviously visas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, is the main problem. So it's like.
Understandable. Yeah, when we chatted with Salem Trials, they're in Canada, and they even talked about they're right next door and having visa troubles, and to really do a true US tour it could be an obstacle.
I'll be there. Like, people will catch me just soloing it out, because I love the States. I've toured there twice now. It's fantastic. I'll never get old. Shout out Bucky, shout out Raising Cane, shout out Sheets, shout out Walmart car parts, like shout out Buffalo Wild Wings, Waffle House, cheese and bacon patty melt. Never stop, never die, never surrender.
I love that. I love that you mentioned Sheets alone, because being from PA, especially Western PA, you have my stamp of approval.
Dude, I had Sheets for the first time when I toured the States last year, and no one told me. Well, no one told me. I was just inconsiderate about the portion sizes, and I got a medium, and I got a large milkshake. It was like that big. I'm probably like over exaggerating, but I'm probably not at the same time. And I threw so much shit in there, like so much protein and so much like extra shit I didn't need, and I couldn't even get to halfway through. 3 men tackled this milkshake.
Welcome to America.
Obscene.
We have just a couple minutes left. I don't want to have to make you do another link, but we'll have a nice little round out. Just let people know where do you want them to find you on social media. Of course, you probably have Instagram and stuff like that, but reach out there.
Yeah. If people want to hit my personal for guest spots or just to talk one-on-one about Ominous, my Instagram is joshxdavis _ Davis with an IES. I'm sure the guys will put the link there. But you can also check the band out on Instagram, Monasteries UK, Facebook, Monasteries. You can find us all on streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. And you can also still grab a copy of Ominous, which came out 3 weeks ago when this comes out. So you can still get the vinyl. I got less than 100 vinyls left, maybe less when this comes arrive. CDs nearly sold out. Got actually like 22 CDs left. So grab the one that can. I doubt we don't really do reprints. So what's there is there. First come served. And if you enjoyed the Elden Ring hoodie, you can also purchase that at the same time wherever else is, monasteriesbigcartel.com. The hoodies might still be there. I can't really promise that. I'm sorry if it's not. Apologies.
Hey, maybe they'll find someone and they could trade. With the last remaining minute, I want to just say thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
All I can say at the end is stay brutal.